I'm going to record this. All right, so today we're going to just be solving systems of equations by substitution. The graphing is somewhat limited because we have to be really accurate with our graphs. So if our number is not an easy one that fits within a small coordinate plane, we're kind of sunk. And also if our answer was one that had decimals or fractions, it would be kind of hard to tell exactly what that was from a graph. So it's important to understand how graphing gives you the answers, but you're going to use this far more. Solving equations by substitution, or there's another way called elimination that we'll do in a few days. Okay, so in the substitution method, we're just going to substitute. We're going to first solve one of the equations for one of the variables, and then we're going to substitute it into the other equation. So if we look at this, this is a system of equations. We have two equations, both with x and y variables. The top equation is already solved for y. So we don't have to, we can actually skip step 1 up here. Top equation is already solved for y. It says that y equals 3x. So in the second equation, we can go to y, and we can take what y equals 3x, and we can substitute it in for y. So in the second equation, instead of writing y, I'm going to write 3x.
So x
With me so far?
32.
X plus 3x equals negative 32.
Wouldn't it be 4x?
It would be. So 4x equals negative 32. And then I divide both sides by 4, and I get x equals negative 8. So I found out what x was pretty quickly. How would I now find out what y is?
You solve in x, you solve in x.
Good. I'm going to substitute again. So I'm going to take this negative 8, and I'm going to put it into this equation. I could put it into either equation, but this one is the easiest.
24.
So I have y equals 3x. I know that x is negative 8. So y equals negative 24. So I have negative 8, negative 24. Now, you can check these to make sure that you're right, and I highly recommend you do that. So I'm going to check it. This has to be true, that x equals negative 8, y equals negative 24. It has to be true for both equations. We know it's true for this one because we just checked this one, but we don't know yet if it worked for that. So I'm going to write the second equation down, and I'm going to substitute in my x and my y. So x is negative 8, y is negative 24, to make sure that's true. Is negative 8 plus negative 24 equal to negative 32?
Yes.
Yes. So you know you did it right. When you take the quiz on this, you can be 100% sure that you did these right just by checking your answers. And then if you get something that didn't work, you know to go back. It's actually easier in these problems to completely start from scratch and redo them than to look for your mistakes. Sometimes it's really hard. Your mind kind of keeps making the same mistake over and over again. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, let's look at another example together. Okay, so in this one, both equations are already solved for y. The top one is y equals 2x plus 7. Bottom one's also solved for y. It doesn't matter which one we use. I'm going to use the top one. So I'm going to say y equals 2x plus 7, and I'm going to substitute that in to the second equation. So instead of y for the second equation, I'm going to write all of this, 2x plus 7. Did you follow what I did there? Olivia, did you follow that? Okay? Okay? I put this in, I substituted it in for y. We good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I looked away for a minute and I looked back, and you said, you see what I did there? I'm like, what did you do?
What was missing? Okay, now we have to solve this equation. What do I do to solve it? Well, I have all x's. Good. Put all my x's on one side, all my numbers on the other side. So I'm going to take, I like to put my x's on the left, so I'm going to subtract this x on the right from both sides. 2x minus x is just x plus 7 equals, these x's go away, and I have negative 1. Now what do I do?
Subtract 7.
Good. Subtract 7, and I get x equals negative 8. Same answer as last time.
Oh, man.
Okay, now Olivia, how am I going to find out what y is?
substitute for the next
Good, good. And it doesn't matter which equation I use, I'm gonna use the second one. Y equals x minus 1. So x is -8 minus 1, what's that? -9. Okay, now I'm gonna check it. When I check my answers, I'm gonna use the other equation. So I'm gonna use y equals 2x plus 7. Y is -9. X is -8 plus 7. I end up with -16 plus 7. Is -16 plus 7 -9? Yep. So I know that I did that one. Okay, next example is one for you to try. So go ahead and begin doing that. I'll come around and check, and then we'll check back together. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to try this example. We're going to go over this briefly. So again, both are already solved for y. We're going to put this in. For y, we have 4x plus 3 equals -x minus 2. Olivia, what do I do now?
Well, you have the x.
Good, add the x, because I'm going to move the x's over to this side. So I have 5x plus 3 equals -2. Garrett, what do I do now? How do I do that? And what do I end up with? Good. Dividing by 5 gives me x equals -1. Casey, what do I do to find y?
Hey, you substitute -1 in that, John.
Okay, let's
Still
substitute. Let's
getting
use the first
-1.
one. So I have y equals 4 times -1 plus 3, which is -4 plus 3, which is -1. Then I can check that using the other equation. Y equals -x minus 2. So y is -1. Be careful when you're checking it. You have -x, which means you have a -1. What's a -1 become? +1 minus 2, which is -1. So we were right. Okay, next set are just slightly more complicated. Solving for a variable first. So these equations, neither one is solved for a variable. So we have to pick. We could pick any variable from any equation to solve for, and it would work. But when we're trying to decide which one to use, it's best to use naked variables, which are variables that have no constants attached to them.
So like -2x plus y.
Yeah, which variable up there is naked? The y. Yeah, this variable has no constant attached to it, it's just y. So it's going to be really easy to solve this equation for y. What do I need to do, Casey, to solve this for y?
Get rid of that 3-1.
Add 2x.
Yeah, we're on this one. Yeah, add 2x,
Add that
good.
2x. Once I figure it out, they'll run that one, I figured it out.
Okay, so then we end up with what? Y equals
2x
Yeah, 2x.
minus 3.
2x minus 3. Okay, so now I have something that is equal to y. What am I going to do with that now?
Substitute.
Substitute it in to which equation?
Top one.
Top one, yeah, because I already manipulated the bottom one. So I'm going to put it in for y there. Okay, so I have 3. Because y equals a lot of things, I need to use a parenthesis. This means 3 times y. So 3 times y is equal to 2x minus 3 plus 4x equals 14.
So it's 2x
Distribute.
Distribute.
minus
Mhm.
9,
6x
6x minus 9.
minus
my bad.
9 plus 4x equals 14. What would I do next?
Add
Like
that
terms.
6x there.
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms.
Do that 6x plus
10x.
that 4x.
Mhm.
Eat 10x.
So I'm going to add the 6x and the 4x to get 10x minus 9 equals 14. Okay, now we just solve a 2-step equation, adding 9 to both sides gives us 10x equals 23. This one's a little bit ugly. Then you get,
Yeah.
dividing by 10 gives us x equals 23 divided by 10 actually works out to a perfect decimal of 2.3, There's no repeating decimal, so we're just gonna use a
I was
decimal.
close, I was gonna say 2 points.
If you have a decimal that does not repeat, but is a terminating decimal, you can just use a decimal. But if it's gonna repeat and just keep going on and on, then you should leave. Now, you don't wanna round when you're doing these kind of problems, you wanna leave it as a fraction, because a fraction is the more accurate answer.
Where do you get these notes from, like the book, or you make them
Some,
yourself?
a little bit of both.
I was gonna say, like, if you got this one from the book, why would they make it a decimal?
I don't know, I don't remember where I got this one. Okay, so now what do? I know X, I wanna find Y.
You gotta substitute that stuff in.
What equation should I substitute it into?
It's the first one.
One up here?
Yeah.
The first one?
Sure.
No, but I can think of a better one. Second one?
Second one.
I can think of a better one.
No.
How about this one?
Yeah, that was.
This
I
one?
don't like that one.
Because I already changed that for Y. So this is the same as the second equation up here. But since it's already solved for Y, it's gonna be really easy to substitute in. So you can actually use the equation that you created. So Y equals
You gotta make it
2
harder.
times 2.3 minus 3, which is 4.6 minus 3, which is 1.6. Then since I kind of used the second equation, I used the version of it that I created, I'm gonna check it using the first equation. So I'm gonna use 3y plus 4x equals 14. 3 times 1.6 plus 4 times 2.3. I can't get my 4 in there. What's 3 times 1.6?
Is, I don't know. Oh wait, yeah, I do know this. It's 3 point, no, it's not.
4
because
point.
4.8.
4.8. Okay, now what's
Yeah,
4
right.
times 2.3?
What?
4 times 2.3?
Yeah, that.
9 point what?
2.
2, good. Equals 14. Is 4.8 plus 9.2 14?
No.
Is it or isn't it? Is it? Olivia, you've been doing all these. Did you do it on the calculator? Or did you do them all in your head? That's okay. Does this equal 14? Does this equal 14?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So 14 equals 14, so we know we did it right, even though I had some ugly decimals. I'll just tell you now, the homework that I'm giving you to work on does not have any decimals as answers. It also does not have any fractions as answers.
Sweet, is it bookwork or a worksheet?
It's a worksheet. They're gonna be very happy.
All right,
It's gonna
then
be
I won't waste my
Worksheet
homework.
central for quite a few days here.
All
All
right,
right,
then I'll
next
save
one
that.
is one for you to try, so I'm gonna pause this. If you're trying it at home, you should pause this and give yourself a chance. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna solve for x, because x is the naked variable. So we get x equals negative 3y minus 7. We're then gonna take this and substitute it in for x here. So we get 6y plus 5x. We're gonna use a parenthesis. Negative 3y minus 7 equals 8. Distributing, we get negative 15y minus 35 equals 8. We combine like terms. 6y minus 15y is negative 9y. Adding 35 to both sides gives us negative 9y equals 43, which works out to be the fraction negative 43 ninths. Okay, now which one do we want to sub it in for? Top one. Okay, so we have 6y plus 5x equals 8. So we're going to take this y and put it in up here. 6 times negative 43 over 9 plus 5x equals 8. Can we do any reducing before we multiply this?
3 can go into 9.
Good, 3 can go into 9 and 6. This twice goes into this 3 times. Does 3 go into 43?
Yeah.
What?
No.
No, because 4 plus 3 is 7, and 3 can't go into 7. Okay, so now we just have to multiply. What's 2 times negative 43?
Negative 86.
Uh-huh. negative 86 thirds plus 5x equals 8. Now what do we do?
Move your 86 thirds over.
Move your 86 thirds, so we're going to add 86 thirds to both sides. Something like this. Not working right. So we end up with 5x equals, let's see here. Okay, so how do we add 8 plus 86 thirds? We think of this
What,
as
8 over 1?
8 over 1, good.
Mhm.
And then change it to what over 3?
Positive, negative.
Multiply 8 by 3.
Oh, well, 24.
Yeah, because 24 divided by 3 is 8, so that's the same as 8. Plus 86 thirds. What's 24 plus 86?
What, 24 plus 86?
Mhm.
It's 100.
Mm, 104. Okay, now we're going to divide both sides by 5. When we divide by 5, that's the same as multiplying by 1/5. So it'll be a little helpful there. So we get x equals, how many times does 5 go into 110?
Oh, it goes in there 25 times?
22
And then-
times.
Yeah. 22 times.
So we end up with x equals 22 thirds, which is correct. We won't check it because we're kind of out of space on
That was a massive.
Okay, your assignment is to do the CUDA worksheet, just 1 through 6 tonight, and then we'll do the remainder of it tomorrow. And you'll have class time to work on it, so you won't have to do the whole thing. For this. Oh, wait a second.